I've always enjoyed bodybuilding, strength training, and some form of cardio. But for years, I couldn't get the combination right. I believed that getting fit meant punishing my body. My whole philosophy was built around that old lie, no pain, no gain. I was convinced that the only way to improve was basically to wage war against my own body. I'd wake up most mornings as well with some kind of ache, whether it was my shoulders, my knees, stiff lower back. I was always nursing some kind of injury. The problem, and I can see it now, is that I was trying to manage two disciplines without any kind of real plan, and I was stuck. I was stuck in a vicious cycle. Train until it hurts, recover just enough to go again. Then at the same time, life hit. I had an appendix burst, which was followed up by a blood clot in the lung. I escaped death, and it was brutal. I lost a ton of weight. I lost all my lung capacity. I had the lung capacity of a mouse. I could only walk about 100 or 200 meters, and I would need a good few hours sleep. I remember it took about 6 months to get back to full training. So in that time, I had plenty of time to build a plan, assess it, tweak it. And I remember making a promise to myself, first and foremost, that I would build a huge aerobic engine. Then after which, secondary, I would pull from the top and gain fitness. I also made the promise to myself that I would listen to my body more and generally just drop the ego and train with intention. So what I did was I created a long-term periodized progressive training plan. And what that means is over the course of 12 weeks, you take your disciplines, you split them apart, and you will focus on one while the other one kind of takes a back seat. That will be in intensity, in hours, and load, right? And then after 12 weeks, you flip the scenario and you focus on your second discipline. And what that does is, over a longer course of period, you get to train more intensely per discipline, and you still level up on one while maintaining the other, and then when the time comes, you level up on the other. The next thing I discovered through trial and error really helped me with load management recovery. You see, I was always thinking, how good do I feel when I take 2 or 3 days out and then I train? Those sessions are amazing. And so thinking on that, I changed up my training, so I would train twice inside one day, but with an 8-hour kind of separation between sessions to allow for recovery in the day. But then I would take the next day as a full rest day. So it's always on, off, so on. I don't have like a set schedule per se, but generally I end up getting 3 rest days per week, and I'm still doing the same amount of load inside the week. Now to the point, on one part I remember I was struggling with when I was building the plan, and that was, what is going to be my form of cardio? Running was starting to take its toll. Recoveries were slow. Injuries, yep, they come and go more often. So I knew I had to mix that up, and I used to love mountain biking. That also comes with its own fair shares of cuts and bruises. So kind of on a whim, knowing I love riding, I took a gravel bike. I bought a gravel bike. I thought, I can still be inside the nature when I want to be. So the gravel bike came, and after about 6 months of zone 2 training, 6 months, partly also that was due to my recovery. The other part was the promise I made myself about building a serious aerobic engine. But as I was riding these kind of slow rides, I realized this was not just cardio, right? I could still get adrenaline, excitement, and good workouts in, and I'd wake up the next day without pain. Of course, you had like muscle pain or whatever, right? But your joints were fine. So I realized, yeah, this is not just cardio. For me, at least, this was the missing piece. Exploring new roads, new places, new views. Cycling gives me freedom. Every ride becomes an adventure, and mentally, it changes everything. The silence of the nature, the fresh air, the crunch of the gravel, it all brings me peace. Most will agree with me, it's like therapy. And some of my best and most creative ideas have come to me whilst on a bike. It's where I reconnect with myself. And most riders will get this. There is that moment on a long ride, your legs are working hard, your heart is steady, you're miles from home, but you don't care. You feel alive. That's when you realize this isn't punishment like most sports. To me, it's freedom. To me, it's strength without being chained to suffering. To me, it's progress you can feel. And the fitness is just a byproduct.